Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatu Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Nam Nirvishesha Srimati Jai Srila Prabhupada. So today is the day. Actually, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur said in one of his writings, that though tell ill who say Vaishnava die, Vaishnavas die to, when Vaishnavas live to preach and die to spread the holy name around, or die to live. So in that way, Vaishnavas never die, and especially a person like Srila Prabhupada. But still, physically, he left his body, and those who were fortunate to have his association, to serve him, to take instructions from him, to take initiation from him, they were very fortunate. But those who are still more fortunate, who can still come and in the movement of Srila Prabhupada and continue their lives, their devotion service. So in 1977, today the Tithi wise, English date wise, it was 14th November 1977 when he left his body in Vrindavan, leaving aside a real amazing legacy. Like he was born in 1896 in Calcutta, and he appeared on the day of Nandotsav, the day after Krishna Janmashtami. And at the time of his birth, there was an astrologer who predicted that he would, at the age of 70, he would cross over 7 oceans and he would open temples all over the world. 108 temples he would open. So that prediction came true. But even before that, so 1896 he was born, and when he was only 22 years old in Calcutta, although it was a freedom fight movement was going on, and at that time he was very much influenced by Gandhiji, the movement of Gandhiji, civil disobedience movement, and he was part of fighting movement. So somehow one of his friends took him to meet Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Calcutta. So when he met him, and he had just paid obeisances, he was getting up when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, "Young man, you look like a very educated young man. Why don't you go and preach the message of Mahaprabhu in English language in the Western world?" So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw the potential right away. That is a real guru who can see the heart of his follower, who can really see what's inside. And Prabhupada argued with Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He said, we are not an independent nation. Who would listen to us? And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, this message of Mahaprabhu is so urgent, so important that it cannot wait for any change in the political scenario of the country. And Prabhupada later on, he did write that, and he told his disciples that for the first time in my life, I felt I was defeated. And I felt happy. And in my heart, I accepted him as my spiritual master. It was only 11 years later, when 1933, when he finally took initiation. But that instruction or that order of Guru to go to the West and preach in the English language, that remained with Srila Prabhupada. And in 1965, after so many hardships, after he had taken sannyas in, when he was 59, and only in 1965, somehow the arrangements were made, all the arrangements of his travel, the visa, the sponsorship letter, the ship ticket, everything got arranged, and he came to America in 1965. And it wasn't just like we travel these days, take a flight, 24 hours, door to door, we are there. It wasn't like that. It took him 40 days in the ship, and not even passenger ship. It wasn't a cruise liner that people go around these days. He traveled by cargo ship. Cargo ship, he had just one cabin by himself. And 69 years old man. And in fact, he celebrated his birthday in the ship only, that birthday. 40 days in the ship. And the ship, it doesn't just sail like a flight. It moves around, it shakes around. And the person who's not used to it, they get this seasickness, vomit, and he had to do it every day. Everybody, his disciples, write Vyas Puja offerings for him. So Shivram Maharaj, who was there in New Delhi a few days back, he wrote in one of his offerings 1 year that he said, I was in my temple in a room, and one old man walked in. And the old man asked Shivran Maharaj, the old man wasn't a devotee, just a local guy. Do you know how glorious your guru was? And Shivran Maharaj, yeah, we know. He was a Mahabhagavat, and he achieved this, that. He said, no, you don't know his glories yet. And Shivram Maharaj didn't understand what he is trying to say. He said, what are you trying to say? He said, you will only come to realize the glories of Srila Prabhupada when you become old, when your body doesn't give you the same comfort, the same energy level, it doesn't cooperate with you. At that ripe age, Prabhupada started the movement. And Shivram Maharaj, when he was writing his offering, he said, now, of course, not as old as Srila Prabhupada was when he started the movement. I'm an old man. I have to take so many medicines and the body doesn't cooperate. And now I really appreciate what Srila Prabhupada did for us at that age. 69 years old. And that too in 1965, when America didn't know anything about vegetarianism, about sadhus, about India. Not too many Indians were here. And forget about any money. Now there is so much of money in ISKCON. Sometimes it becomes a problem. There's so much of money. If it is not utilized properly, it is a problem. But that time there was nothing. And Prabhupada did write in one of his letters that when he got down from the ship, First he got down in Boston, and then Boston again. He went for a walk with Captain Pandya, and he got back on the ship, and then the ship came to New York. So when he got down at New York, that was his final destination. He didn't know whether to go left or right. He didn't know anybody. And the person who sponsored his visa, he lived in, there's a small town called Butler in Pennsylvania. That was long distance from New York. So this person, Gopal, he had arranged a travel agent who picked up Srila Prabhupada from the port, and he put him in a bus to Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania. That is another 8-10 hours of journey. What was the need for such an old man to come to West, to come to America? He didn't know anybody. And he had only 40 rupees with him. 40 rupees worth of dollars. I think that time it was $8 or $10. That's all Indian government would allow somebody to carry with him. That's all. What was the need for a 69-year-old man to come to America at that age? He didn't know anybody, had no money with him, and there was no guarantee of anything. The need cannot be just the order of Guru Maharaj. And his Guru Maharaj didn't give him order at that time. He gave him order in 1922 when Prabhupada was a young man. And he told him, young man, you're an educated young man. Now he was an old man. He could have said, no, Maharaj, I'm old. I cannot go. I cannot do what you told me 43 years ago. But that was the thing. That compassion in his heart for all of us. This is what motivated him. Yes, Guru's order was there, yes. But it has to follow with the conviction. Yes, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to do. Whatever Prabhupada believed in, whatever Prabhupada had, the realizations he had, the Krishna prema he had. And until he had the conviction that, yes, this is the best thing for the suffering humanity all over the world. This is the best way to live the life, and his compassion for the fallen souls. Until it was all clubbed together, there's no way he could have come and stayed and being so successful. Yes, he gave credit to his guru. He gave credit to the order of his guru, and obviously that's the right thing to do. But until one had that conviction and the compassion, there's no way he could have done that. So he came to New York, went to Pennsylvania. Now staying at this boy Gopal. Gopal is somehow Prabhupada met somebody from Mathura, Gopal's father. And Gopal's father, Prabhupada didn't even know him. He met him in Kurukshetra somehow. And this Gopal's father just told him, okay, we'll arrange for your visa, because Gopal's father was, his son was here in America and he had married an American girl. So father wasn't quite happy. The father is a Brajvasi from Mathura. And his son is living in America, marrying an American girl. So father said, at least let him do some service. So let him sponsor this sadhu. So Prabhupada showed up. So were Sally in one of his talks. She said, Gopal, although sponsored visas for many sadhus, but nobody showed up. But here was Srila Prabhupada, and he showed up with his box and his umbrella and his funny-looking dress. Of course, for them it was funny-looking dress at that time. And Prabhupada came to their house. It was, for them, it was little uncomfortable because they never had an elderly person living in the house. So, so they moved him to YMCA building. There was a building YMCA. In fact, I happened to go to that building and I have seen Prabhupada's signature in the register. They had maintained that register from that long ago. So Prabhupada would sleep at YMCA, but daytime he would come to Gopal's house. So whole day he would be there. So at night he would go to YMCA to sleep. And he would cook for himself because Gopal used to eat meat and he would take from the same fridge, he would take vegetables and still cook for himself. And obviously, Gopal, somehow he tasted that food that Prabhupada prepared. Obviously, a Mahabharata, when he's going to prepare, it'll be very tasty. So, Prabhupada used to cook for Gopal also with his. He had his four box, whatever, pressure cooker or whatever we want to call it. And somehow he used to cook everything in that. But this was Prabhupada. But he said, I'm not here just to live in this house. So somehow he found some contacts. He moved to New York and again struggling over there. There was one Dr. Mishra. He used to run his yoga studio. Prabhupada stayed with him for a while. And then it didn't work out. Dr. Mishra was getting disturbed because Prabhupada would preach, and Dr. Mishra's students were getting attracted to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada moved in with a boy named David in an apartment, and in a locality, in a suburb called Bowery. Bowery was like very low grade suburb where all the drug addicts, homeless people, they would live on the street. And in fact, Prabhupada was living at that time on third or fourth floor. And on the steps, there's so many drug addicts. They would be sleeping on the steps, on the staircase. And Prabhupada had to either jump over them or move them around, move them aside to go on the staircase. And living with David, and David was also a drug addict somehow. He Prabhupada moved in with him, and one night he tried to kill Prabhupada. In fact, before that, he sold Prabhupada's typewriter. Prabhupada was typing his manuscript on Bhagavad Gita, and he sold Prabhupada's typewriter in his absence to take money for drugs. And one night, he tried to kill Prabhupada because he had taken drugs. And Prabhupada just left everything and ran away from the house in the middle of the night. He was on the streets in New York. Didn't know where to go. So somehow he had some well-wishers. So he called them. It was Michael and his girlfriend Jane. And Prabhupada moved in with them. Can we imagine the Mahabharata? Now we know all the wonderful titles for him. At that time, we can't even imagine what Prabhupada was doing here in New York. So Michael and Jane, Prabhupada moved in with them, and Prabhupada would sleep in the living room on the sofa, and they would be in the bedroom. And they were not even married; they were just boyfriend girlfriend. Since it was too uncomfortable for them, she made some more. Got this first building on rent for Prabhupada. Not a building; it was just a room. It was a underneath a storefront, and above it there was a room. So that was place where Prabhupada first started his official preaching. And of course, this Michael and Jane, they later on became Mukund Maharaj and Jadurani Mata. Not Jadurani, Jamna Mata. But this is how he started. Why would anybody go through all this pain, all this struggle, if it didn't have this conviction in the heart that I'm doing the right thing? I'm doing it for the upliftment of the society. This, like somebody said, no, without this kind of pagalpan, without this kind of madness, nothing can be done. Nothing great can be done without this kind of madness. This kind of madness is required. Compassion is there, but passion is required also. Without passion, one cannot work. But this was Prabhupada. And obviously from there, he first had his kirtan in Tompkins Square Park in New York. It was close to 26 Second Avenue. And the tree under which Prabhupada had his first kirtan, if you search you can see the pictures of that tree also, with Prabhupada standing under it. And there Prabhupada and a few of his followers, they advertised the Bhagavad Gita classes. Yeah, from there, slowly it picked up and started expanding and expanding and expanding. But this is how it started. And from that little storefront, little shop they had rented, Prabhupada in 1966, he drafted up a charter for a society and he named it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He had only 5 or 6 followers and no money at all. They didn't even have money for the next month's rent. They didn't know where the money is going to come from. And they are here, Prabhupada is registering the society as the International Society. But Prabhupada knew what is going to happen. He could see that. But it's very bold. And none of his followers had any idea what Swamiji is doing. They just had faith in Prabhupada. That's it. One can imagine, Prabhupada was 70 years old in 1966. And all these boys and girls who joined him, they were like 19, 20, 21, 22, at the most 22. Not even older than that. Prabhupada had thick Bengali accent. When he gave lectures, if you listen to lectures of that time, it was a thick, very thick Bengali accent. And all these boys are from New York, America. Youngsters, teenagers, basically. So they couldn't have understood the philosophy. There was no way. And they didn't have any background either. Krishna consciousness or Vedic knowledge or Sanskrit or anything, no background. Only thing they just liked, they just loved Srila Prabhupada. That's it. They had full faith in it. This is how the preaching actually it works. It doesn't work with big philosophy. Nobody understands big philosophy. It's just they have to understand this person is my well-wisher. This person is there to help me. He's not there to exploit me, to take advantage of me. He's there to help me, and genuine help is going to come from this person. When that feeling is there, when that kind of relationship is there, a person will come and join and try to understand the philosophy much better. And Prabhupada at that age, 70 years old, he would cook for everybody. He would cook prasadam by his own hands. He would serve them by his own hands. He would make everybody sit down and serve them prasadam. And afterwards, Prabhupada would clean. the floor, the utensils, everything. And these followers, when they would leave, they would tell Swamiji, next time we would like to eat this, so please prepare that. And Prabhupada would say, yes, I will prepare. It was only after a few days of this service, then it was, I think, Satsvarup Maharaj, who I don't remember what was his previous name was. He got up and he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, can we help you in cleaning? The Prabhupada said, yes, I was waiting for that, somebody to ask. Prabhupada didn't force anybody, didn't push anybody like that. He just gave them lots of caring and love. That's it. And everybody just stayed around with Prabhupada. And not just stayed around, they gave up their jobs, they gave up their comfortable living at their homes, and they joined Prabhupada. And they also, obviously, his followers also suffered, they sacrificed a lot for Prabhupada because they saw Prabhupada sacrifice for them. They saw how Prabhupada is genuinely caring for them. They didn't even feel that much of caring at home, but they felt with Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was not even paying them. Oh, he didn't have any money, in fact. So what payment? Nothing. It was they just felt, they understood. It's a genuine care, genuine love for us. And they were ready to do anything for Prabhupada. Just like from New York, then his disciple Shyamsundar and Malti Mataji, they decided to move to San Francisco. Somehow they had some connection, so they moved there. And they invited Prabhupada over there to San Francisco from New York. And that was the first time Prabhupada sat in the aeroplane. And he got in San Francisco again, he preached over there, and then it was Montreal, three couples. I mean, just imagine 1968, there's in Montreal, and these three couples, Shyamsundar, Malti, Gurudas, Jamuna, and one more, I think Mukund Maharaj Jamuna and Gurudas and Janki. And Malti Mataji's little daughter, Saraswati, who was just 1.5 years old. Prabhupada sent them to England to preach. And how much philosophy they could have had by that time? Hardly any. We didn't even have our own Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada used to refer to this translation of Bhagavad Gita by Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. That's all. Hardly any knowledge. And Prabhupada sent them to London. And Shyamsundar Prabhu at that time, because in London or in England, Beatles were very popular at that time, very, very popular. And somehow Shyamsundar Prabhu, he got this idea in his mind that I want to make the Beatles devotees. And Prabhupada encouraged him, yes, go ahead, do it. ISKCON didn't even have any, I mean, these three couples who went to England, they didn't even have a room to live in. They were living in, and Malti Mataji told, they were living in like cardboard boxes. Somehow big boxes they had arranged. And one box, all the gents were living in, one box, all the ladies were living in. But somehow or other, they started working on these guys, Beatles and George Harrison. Somehow, for whatever reason, he got interested, and few years later, we had the first album and it was number one all over the world. So this is how his mercy, one by one, he started sending devotees all over. Like he sent some devotees to South America. He would say, "Go open South America, go open Germany, go open Japan, go open Hong Kong." That's how he prayed, and he traveled all over the world 14 times till 1977. Can we imagine? 12 years, only 12 years, 108 temples all over the world. He went all around, traveling all around 14 times. He had 10,000 disciples initiated. And there were no mobile phones, not even regular landline phone in the beginning. It came much later. No mobile phones, no computers. And he managed a worldwide movement just by letters, writing letters. So many letters he wrote, so many lectures he gave, so many interviews, so many books, 70 volumes of books. It's not a joke. While traveling, and for disciples, he had to teach them everything from scratch. How to put on dhoti, how to put on tilak, how to cook, how to cut up vegetables, how to serve, how to eat, how to sleep, how to get every single thing. Ladies, they were learning how to wear sari from him. They didn't know. How to keep the accounts. And for the painters, they would come and learn from him how to make the paintings. And Prabhupada would teach them in detail how to do these paintings, how to write books, how to edit books. And health-wise also, Prabhupada just knew everything, how to do massage, what every medicine is for, Ayurvedic medicine, he knew everything. Bombay, big time legal fight, and Prabhupada led from front. He taught disciples how to lead a legal fight also. For Juhu temple, he led such a big fight because the person who sold the land, cheated, is gone. Deity worship, everything Prabhupada taught, every single thing, and in detail. How to run restaurants, how to have farm communities, how to raise children. He has given instructions for everything. Either through his books, through his letters, through his lectures. He has given instructions everywhere for everything. Now looking back, we can say it's just a miracle, and then we can say, oh, he was sent by Krishna himself, so it was possible for him. But look at the struggle he went through. It wasn't easy sailing, like they say. He went to America and everything opened. No, it wasn't like that. He had to struggle. He struggled hard. Managing all these disciples, it's not an easy task. And while managing the whole society. And inspiring so many people, he got inspired by. To an extent, they're ready to give their life for it. And obviously, in the course of time, many funny incidents also happen, many serious incidents also happen. Like which one I want to share? Like there was an incident in London. This lady came to interview Srila Prabhupada, lady from newspaper. And she asked Prabhupada, "Oh Swamiji, why do you shave your head? Why do you all shave your heads?" And Prabhupada, being Prabhupada, he asked that lady, "Why do you shave your legs?" Because the lady who came to interview Prabhupada was wearing a mini skirt. And obviously they shave their legs. So Prabhupada said, "Why do you shave your legs?" So lady was taken aback. "What is it? Swamiji is asking me." Then Prabhupada told her that we shave our heads to keep the heads cool. And then again he commented. He said, "It's better to have cool head and warm legs." The lady just couldn't say anything because hers were the opposite, hot head and cold legs. She had that. So Prabhupada, it's better to have cool head and warm legs. So like that, he was very funny. But once in Los Angeles temple, some professors from University of California, Los Angeles, they came to see Prabhupada. And they were the professors of theological department. And Prabhupada, if you ever get a chance to listen to that conversation, please go ahead. Prabhupada just slapped them left and right, basically, with his questions and with his comments. And one point that Prabhupada made was, because they were, one professor was writing a book on modern theology. And Prabhupada asked him, "Why modern? Is God modern?" So why modern theology? What do you mean by modern theology? Since God is eternal, so his philosophy is also eternal. And then one point that he made was, he said, theology, theos means God, logy means the science of God. So do you know who is God? So they said, no, we just kind of speculate on it. Then Prabhupada said, then your department should be called of theosophy, not theology. And they all agreed with Prabhupada. Whatever Prabhupada was saying, they were agreeing to him. Because they couldn't just say anything against Prabhupada's arguments, logical arguments that Prabhupada was giving. And even for theosophy, he said, Prabhupada said, theosophy means science of God. So he said, but do you know God? They don't say no. So Prabhupada said, so here is God, Krishna is God. Why don't you accept it? They said, no, we cannot accept. Prabhupada, you don't know who is God, but I'm telling you who is God. Why don't you accept? You can do your research later on, but first you accept He's God. So all these professors, they were completely dumbfounded with Prabhupada. So that was Prabhupada. Prabhupada, because he was in complete touch with Krishna, with Paramatma, and so that's why Paramatma helps the devotees. And how Prabhupada encouraged his disciples to make deities, like Shyam Sundar Prabhu was the one who first made this Jagannath Baldev Subhadra deities for ISKCON. And that Jagannath deity that Shyam Sundar Prabhu made, because he knew how to do woodwork, and Prabhupada came to the room where he was making the deities. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu, at that time, he was addicted to cigarette smoking. So he had the cigarette pack on the head of Jagannath ji, and he was working on the other deities. And when Prabhupada walked into that room, Prabhupada looked at He saw the cigarette pack. So you feeling you're offender, he didn't say anything like that. Only when he was walking out, because he had to give instructions on all the DPs. When he was walking out, he just pointed out at that cigarette pack. He said, "It's very sad that you're letting something this big come between you and God." And left, and Prabhupada then left. He didn't say anything else. And Shyamchandra Prabhu was saying, I just picked up that cigarette pack and threw it away, and that was my last day I ever touched cigarette. Because I could see in Prabhupada's mind, Prabhupada's eyes, the compassion that he had for me. How sorry he was feeling for me. So that is Prabhupada. How he taught them everything. Like Shrutkirti Prabhu, who served Prabhupada in the personal servant capacity for many, many years, he was telling that Prabhupada would not like to waste anything. Like he used to give massage to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would take massage every day. So he said that I had kept this bottle of mustard oil on the ground, and I took some mustard oil on my hand and I was massaging Prabhupada. And while I was massaging him, I moved around and somehow knocked that mustard oil bottle on the ground, and the oil spilled on the ground. And he said, Prabhupada got so angry with me. He said, "You go get some pot right away." And he got the pot. And Prabhupada, with his hand, he was trying to scoop some oil from the ground and the pot. And he told Shrutkirti Prabhu also to follow that and to do that. And finally, they got like maybe 95% of the oil. And Prabhupada said, "Now use this oil from massaging me, rubbing on my back." Like Prabhupada would not like to waste a single penny unnecessarily. Once Prabhupada was in South India, or Bombay, I think he was in Bombay. And he had to send a check to a bank in Vrindavan for deposit. So, and his disciple was Vrindavan temple president, I'm forgetting his name. He was coming back from Bombay to Vrindavan. So Prabhupada was going to give him the check to deposit in bank. So Prabhupada called him in his room, and Prabhupada told him, "Okay, this is the letter I'm going to give you. The check is there. You have to deposit in the bank." And he said, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." And Prabhupada asked him, because that time there were not too many branches, not like today. There were like, from our temple, Krishna Balram temple, he had to go towards Loi Bazaar to access that bank. Prabhupada asked him how much the rickshaw cost. Probably it was like. So then devotee said 50 paisa, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said how much it would cost for me to post this letter, so send it by mail to the bank. It was like maybe 5 paisa or so. Prabhupada said, I would like to mail this letter to the bank. So you save 50 paisa on the rickshaw. This is how careful Srila Prabhupada was. But when it came to building big temples, Prabhupada would just spend money like anything for the service of Krishna, getting best paraphernalia for the deities. So where was the money was coming from? His own sales of his own books that he had written, and devotees were selling on the streets, at airports in America, everywhere. So whatever proceeds from the books would come. And obviously, some donors were getting uh, cultivated, so they were giving some donation, but mostly it was from the sale of the books or any donation that would come to the temple. And this is how Prabhupada led the movement. 12 years. Once in India, he was giving an interview, and in the interview, he said that one astrologer had predicted that Prabhupada would be one of the richest men in India. And Prabhupada was saying, yes, who could be more richer than me? Why? Because he said, I got a house in every country. He would say that all the temples, basically Prabhupada's homes, he could stay anywhere, anytime, as long as he wanted. So he said, I got house in every country, and I got in every house I have at least 10 servants and many cars, and I don't even have to pay my servants. So who could be more richer than me? But that was Prabhupada. He was, I don't know, if you ever get a chance to come to US, at least come to Detroit Temple. There's this big mansion that Prabhupada bought. I mean, his disciples bought for Prabhupada. And that's where the temple is, Detroit Temple. It's a huge mansion. Even we bought it in 1972, but it was built sometime back. And even then, the person had spent at least $1 million to build it at that time. It's a huge mansion. Every room has different sculpting, different feel to it. Every room is different. And Prabhupada bought it. And Prabhupada, if you look at Prabhupada's room in that mansion where Prabhupada stayed, it's not less than any room of a king in a palace. But at the same time, Prabhupada, when he went to Bhubaneswar, where Gaur Govind Maharaj had made, by his own hands, Maharaj had made a hut, a mud hut for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada stayed there, and from Prabhupada's point of view, it was much more comfortable for him to be in the mud hut. He liked it much more than the palatial room that he had in Detroit Temple. That is Prabhupada. He was not attached at all to the palace or to that, but he liked it in the hut more, he said. Well, for the service of Krishna, he was ready to take any risk. In Toronto, devotees were there. They had a small temple. When Prabhupada went there, the temple president came and he said, Prabhupada, we have seen a church that's on sale. We can buy it. And Prabhupada asked him, how much is it for? At that time, it was like $300,000 at that time. Again, it was early 70s or late 60s. And Prabhupada said, first he said, no, don't buy. We don't need to take so much of anxiety. But next day he said, no, we should take anxiety for Krishna. And so go ahead and buy it. The devotees went ahead, bought it, beautiful, huge church it is, and it's right in downtown Toronto. And right now, I mean, that building, if you look at the property, the worth, it is in multi-millions of dollars, that property is worth. So this is how Prabhupada motivated, he encouraged, he inspired his followers to do so much. Once from Bombay, he went to Amritsar. He had an invitation. So he went to Amritsar with few disciples. So on the way back from Amritsar to Bombay, the train stopped at New Delhi. And he just told one of his disciples, I think it was Gurudas Prabhu. Yeah, Gurudas and another brahmachari. He said, get down. Get down and start preaching in Delhi. That's how the preaching started in Delhi. These two devotees just got on. They were with Prabhupada in the train on the way back to Bombay. No money, nothing. No, they had just one contact. Uh, Somebody they had met in Bombay, and the Chippiwada temple where Prabhupada stayed before he came to West. That's all. And later on, one Tejas Prabhu also joined them, and Tejas Prabhu was telling that we would sleep on the but in the daytime we would go to the temple and freshen up and go around and meet big people, try to do life membership and preach. This is how we did. In fact, Jamuna Mataji, who wrote Recipe Indian Cooking for Krishna, she mentioned she was in Delhi at that time and she was living at Chippiwada temple. And she had, because Delhi was very different weather and cleanliness wasn't there at all. So she developed lots of lices in her hair. So tried everything and nothing worked. So she wrote to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what to do. Prabhupada just told these American disciples who were there in India with Prabhupada, they were having so much of sickness. They were getting hepatitis, sickness, loose motions, but still they were serving. They were ready to serve Prabhupada. They were like ready to give their life for Prabhupada. Why? Because they loved her. Because they knew Prabhupada is our best well-wisher. That's all. And look at the movement at that time. Bombay Temple, Juhu Temple, Vrindavan Temple, Mayapur Temple, and all over the world, so many beautiful temples they got started. And even afterwards, also when Prabhupada left his body, I mean, even right now, so many temples are being built. So many temples have been built. Wonderfully, the movement is growing. Of course, in some places it is in many, like in America, but like anything. And it's only because of the example that has been set by Srila Prabhupada for his followers. And the books that he has given, instructions he has given. He said, my books are the law books for ISKCON for the next 10,000 years. 10,000 years, we can't even imagine any books to continue. But Prabhupada did say that his books will continue. That's why we have time to read Prabhupada's books thoroughly, deeply. We should go and read. And every time we read Prabhupada's purport, we'll find different meaning, different realization will be there, different meaning will come. I mean, it's only by Prabhupada's mercy we can see our lives have completely transformed, completely changed. Can we imagine without ISKCON, I mean, on Saturday or Sunday morning, we would be sitting down and doing Krishna Katha at 8:30 in the morning? No way. We won't even get up at so early if it wasn't for ISKCON or Katha. We all would be sleeping, getting up late, okay, so many other things we would be doing. And it's complete transformation of people's lives. This is what Prabhupada has done. Look at like that's so wonderful. Radha Krishna Prabhu. He goes to office with this wonderful Vaishnav tilak on. Even I haven't tried that so far. I won't have the guts to do that. He goes to office in tilak, preaching actually, with this bead bag in the on the around their neck, and we dhoti kurta, how dhoti kurta, still okay. Dhoti kurta, they have so much of fashionable dhoti kurtas also, but that's a different story. But they don't mind wearing dhoti kurta in India or in America or in Russia or anywhere. Ladies wearing saris, all because of one person, Srila Prabhupada. Look at all amazing things that have entered into our lives. Chanting, reading scriptures, never even thought of scriptures. Deities, offering bhoga, whole day the mind goes on, what should I offer him next? What should I offer my deities next? Eating prashadam, getting up early, Mangla Yatra, now you all are going for Vrindavan Yatra, Dham and this and that, so many things. It's like a whole package Prabhupada has given. I mean, if you just live our life according to his instruction, then nothing else you need. There's no need of going to malls and movies and restaurants and do all sorts of nonsense. There's no need. There is no time. There is no inclination. There is no need at all. That is what Prabhupada has done. And he will continue to do that for me. Yes, he will continue. We just have to take advantage of the processes he has given, and he has made it so easy for us. Just like I'll end with the one incident when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. So he would get so many invitations from different Brahmins to come over and have lunch prasadam with them. And then so many invitations were there. The Mahaprabhu made a rule that anybody who's not a Lakpati, I will not come to his house. So Brahman said, came to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, we are not that rich, we are very poor, we are not Lakpatis. The Mahaprabhu said, Lakpati means one who does not chant 100,000 names every day. Means 64 rounds every day. I will not come to his house. So Brahman said, okay. But when devotees of ISKCON, they heard of this incident. So they went to Prabhupada. And they said, Prabhupada, Mahaprabhu doesn't accept our offering. Prabhupada said, you chant 16 rounds minimum every day. Follow the four principles. Make your offering to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will see how he does not accept it. So that is Srila Prabhupada. He is close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is close to Radha Krishna, Senapati Bhakta. Mahaprabhu said, more Senapati Bhakta. One of my commanding devotees or followers will go, and that is Srila Prabhupada. We don't know his real identity, but he is very close, very confidential associate of Mahaprabhu and very confidential of Radha and Krishna. So all we have to do is just try to follow his instructions without deviations, without adding or subtracting anything. And he's ready to take us back home, back to God. So today on his disappearance day, we can pray to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please give us more sincerity, more determination, more love for chanting, reading his books, serving him, serving his devotees. so that we can attain the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. See anybody have any questions or comments? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for bringing Prabhupada alive. So it's always giving goosebumps what he did, what he achieved, and how he's still transformed.
I know.
Like that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, when we hear these incidents from his life, it's really unbelievable what he accomplished. He cannot even change one person's heart. He changed millions of people's hearts and still changing it.
And still changing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I really got amazed from one of the quality of Prabhupada. While listening to his lecture, I saw him repeating the shloka 3-4 times along with devotees. So I was thinking, Prabhupada has written all the 18,000 shloka purports and Gita shloka purport, but still he is repeating the complete shloka with devotees.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that. Because shlokas are very important. Of course, his purports are more important, but shlokas are also very, very important. They're the original thing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay,
Hare
you
Krishna,
go on.
Mata.
No, go on, Mataji. Go on, Mataji.
Yeah, I don't have words to express, to say how grateful we are, to get all that, the elixir, if I have to say, about Prabhupada and from Bhagavad Gita and, the daily class that we have. Thank you so much for that, Prabhuji. And today's class, you were saying about, how Prabhupada gives back to that lady, saying that we shave our heads because we want to keep it cool, and so it's better to have warm legs and a cool head. That I am just imagining how he could have said, and it is, you got it so live, and I resonate with whatever Radha Krishna Prabhuji just now said, right? Goosebumps. It literally makes us, stand up for a minute and then think, oh my God, it is so live. And today, in fact, whatever you said, apart from that, the joke that he made, the reason why does Prabhupada or all that, the brahmachari, whoever going to that monk, why do they do that? Is it just to say that I'm an ascetic and I'm giving up all the worldly? What does that signify? What does that symbolize?
The shaved head?
Yes, yes, yes.
Basically, yes. It's giving up our social connections.
Okay.
But to get to that lady's head, and he couldn't have explained this to her, so he just tried different approach.
Yeah. I mean, so the humor bit, I'm just saying, somebody who's into spirituality so much and has got a mission to achieve, it is, I don't know, but what kind of soul he has been, right? So thank you for that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, during the
Hare
initial days when Prabhupada used to cook prasad and feed all the people, so who would fund those expenses? And when he stayed in several places, who would kind of pay for Prabhupada at that point in time? Of course, Krishna was there.
Some of his followers were collecting money and doing all this, but there wasn't a whole lot of money. Somehow they were just getting around and doing it.
Shows how Krishna makes arrangement, Prabhuji. Initial days, in fact, no devotees at all, but still feeding prasad.
Yeah. All arrangements were taken care of. Yes. Not lavishly, but yes, everything was there. So we should, I mean, you listen to Prabhupada's disciples when they speak about Srila Prabhupada, their relationship with him. It's amazing. It just moves your heart. Like, how did it happen? To try to make it a point that you listen to Prabhupada's disciples about Prabhupada. It's amazing. I mean, if you read the book Prabhupada Lilamrita, and so many other disciples have written their anecdotes or their remembrance of Prabhupada, just read those books. In fact, at any time, if we feel low on determination and inspiration, motivation to carry on a devotion life, just open any page of Prabhupada Lilamrita and start reading. You'll get all the determination back. Yes, I have to do it.
Yes, I've heard about it, Prabhuji. I'm looking forward to bring a set of Prabhupada's Leelamrit.
Yeah, please do that. It's a wonderful book. Very nicely written by Satsvarup Maharaj.
Yeah, and I think during this book marathon season, perhaps they will offer some discount as well. Let me bring the volumes.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, marathon is coming up anyway, so you can pick up.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the session. Wonderful session.
Thank you all
Eye
very
opener.
much. You all have a wonderful day.
Hare
Acha,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare. Yes, Prabhu.
I wanted to make this announcement about the Vrindavan Kartik trip, which you have asked us to organize.
Let me stop the recording first. Yeah.